Hey, this is the antisocial socialite back at it again. Thanks so much for tuning in. If you are new to the channel or you have not yet subscribed, what are you waiting for, darling? Hit that subscribe button, smash that notification bell. So when I get to run this mouth, baby, you are in the loop. You see the title, you know what time it is. One of our biggest downfalls as a group of people is our financial illiteracy. I was just going through YouTube. This is not going to be very long. And this story popped up, and thank goodness it's only a short video because I can go on for a very long time. And this lady, she was working for a real estate company, and I'll let her tell the story, and then I'll come back and I'll give my thoughts. Okay, let's have a quick look.
Millions of Americans lost their homes to foreclosure after the housing market collapsed.
Fair use, fair use. This is for parody, criticism, and all the other stuff that you have to say.
Lisa Hardy has been living in this Indianapolis house for 9 years without paying a penny in rent.
Uh-oh.
You heard that right. Rent free. Did any of it seem too good to be true? I mean, especially the part about paying no rent. No? I mean, that's not the way the world works, though, is it?
She's like, no. That's what I deserve.
A decade ago, Hardy was working for a real estate company that made her an offer she couldn't refuse. What was the offer to you?
You and your family find a house and move in it.
The idea was that as long as she worked for the realtor, she'd have a house. So Hardy picked this 3-bedroom house, which the company owned, and moved in. So you start to occupy this place with the understanding that you're going to stay there for...
There was really no time limit on how long I would be here. As time goes on, I'm thinking they were planning to put me on a lease.
But when her boss went to prison for mortgage fraud and the real estate company collapsed, Hardy stayed for the next 9 years.
This is Leah's playroom.
You raised your family here.
I did.
Were you nervous at all during these years that went by?
Yes, it had its ups and downs.
But she paid her utilities, installed new appliances, and went on with her life. And you just
Stayed here.
Look at her face.
Didn't hear a word from anyone.
I just
the
stayed
city,
here.
unaware there was an occupant, offered to auction off the home, which was built in 1910. Hardy actually tried to buy it at a bargain basement price, but each time it was pulled off the block for no apparent reason. Then, when it came on the market again 3 months ago, the asking price of $7,500 was too steep for Hardy.
Okay, so that's where I want to stop the video. Okay, basically, this lady, after everything was said and done, she could not afford to pay $7,500. I can't do 7,500. That just doesn't feel right. But $7,500. This woman has lived rent free in a house for 9 years. Not 1, not 2, but 9 years. Now, my cost of living is quite low, but I know that if $7,500 is not even what I would pay in 2 years. And what's really sad about this story, and even people in the comment section mentioned it, they were like, you mean to tell me you lived in a house for 9 years, rent free, and you didn't have at least £5,000, £6,000 or dollars saved? And I remember years ago, we had a lady here in the UK who had a similar situation, but it wasn't her rent, it was her electricity bill. Like, I don't know how long it was, but it was years. She did not pay for her electricity. But the reason why I think he said at the end of this story, I'll leave the link below, that this has a happy ending, is because some places would have backdated you that money. You would have been on the street because they would have been like, we want our money. We're sending the bailiff. Like, even the shirt on your back, we will take it because you owe us 9 years worth of rent. And with the lady who didn't pay her electricity bill for like whatever it was, 7, 8, 9 years, I can't remember how many years it was. The first thing people asked her was, didn't you think it was strange that you weren't getting bills anymore? And, again, it was a black lady. And sometimes the greed and the too good to be true, it gets us into trouble. We feel like, the freeness is going to go on forever. And the other thing that made me want to do this video is because as a group, I feel like we don't have a culture of saving. We don't see opportunities to save money because this lady's living rent free. And, you know, she says that as long as she was in her job, she was supposed to have a home as a result of the job. But I'm sure there was an expectation that at some point she would start to pay. All the money that she saved rent free, she should have been thinking maybe at some point they're going to ask me for this money. Let me save some money up so that if they do come one day saying, by the way, you owe us this much money, I can just pay it instead of having to run around and scramble. But what really got me and what really made me do the video, like I said, people even in the comment section were like, damn, you were going to get a 3-bedroom house that you've lived in for years, you've decorated, you've invested some money in and everything, and you don't have $7,000? Like, what have you been doing for the best part of a decade? Because somebody said, like, it's $75 a month, but it's not $75. $75 a month is for 10 months, which would be $750. Okay, yeah, maybe because it's 9 years, not 10. But that means that even before the 9-year period where she had free money, like, she wasn't saving. She didn't even have like $1,000 to make it up in the bank. So a lot of black people miss opportunities like this because our cultural mindset doesn't push us to actually think about these kind of things. That opportunities come up, are we able to grab them? I'm speaking to myself as well. Could I just pluck 7,500 pounds out of the air? No, I couldn't. And it's embarrassing because I've had the opportunity to save that kind of money as well. A few days ago, or maybe at the beginning of this week, I did a live stream talking about how a lot of people blow their 20s. They feel like 20s are the new, 30 is the new 20 because you don't look your age. You don't have to worry about aging. And if you think about your productive years of life, let's say you leave high school around 18, and then you want to be working up till about 60, and maybe by 60 you're starting to slow down. You only have 42 years. And if you kind of waste 18 to 30 because you still feel like you're too young to take life seriously, that's not only 12 years of waste. That's 12 of the best years. When you're the most energetic, you're likely to be the most child free, you're likely to have the most energy and the most, get up and go in life. You're more likely to be like trying new things because you don't really know what life is about. And that's where you're really setting the foundation for the other 30 years of productivity. And because so many black people, they're not in this mindset of thinking 10, 20, 30 years ahead, planning and preparing, when opportunities like this come up, they miss it. She has a daughter. That 7,500 that she could have been saving, even if it was $5,000, I'm sure she could have begged, stolen, borrowed another $2,500 from somewhere. But because she doesn't have that money saved up, a whole 3-bedroom house just completely slipped through her fingers. And we like to talk about legacy. That would have been her daughter's legacy, the house that her kids and her children's children could have inherited for the meager sum of 7,500. I mean, here in the UK, the last time a house was 7,000 pounds or dollars would have probably been like maybe in the 30s. I know about 100 years ago, people were getting houses for like £50 and £100, £300. So 7,500 would have been maybe in the 30s or the 20s. And in the 21st century, you have a 3-bedroom house that you've lived in for the best part of 10 years and you couldn't find 7 grand. This is how Black people end up always being at the bottom, because we don't think about the future enough to put something aside for the future. And that was really all I wanted to say. When they said a company bought the house from the company that originally owned it, and they were going to offer it to her for $7,500, and she did not have it. And she didn't not only not have it, she didn't even have somebody she could ask for the money. And you have a daughter. I just thought, we as a people, we got to do better. I've got to do better. About maybe a couple of years ago, I went to a convention and the pastor was talking about the importance of saving. And I made a joke. I said, like, I don't have the money, which wasn't strictly true. If I added up all the money that I waste on food, waste on cabs because I'm running late, just buying crap on Amazon just because I see it and I want it. If I added up all that money that I blew, I could easily be saving like a couple of hundred a month. And I said, like, I don't even think I have. Oh yeah, what he asked was, everyone in the room, raise your hand if you've got £1,000 in saving. I look around, there's hardly any hands. Older hands. Okay, 500. The same hands are going up, but the same hands are staying down. And when it got to like 100 in savings, it was embarrassing that a room full of adults had hardly any savings. And I said, I don't think I've got like £10 in savings, which wasn't a lie, because I'd spent money on different things and I just wasn't saving. And the pastor took £10 out of his wallet and he handed it to me. And I was like, no, I'm not taking your money. The pride, how dare you? And then he was like, you're going to open a savings account with this £10 and I want you to call me when you've got £100 saved. And I was like, oh my gosh, I was so embarrassed. But I went and I done it. And I'm so happy that I did, because when the coronavirus hit, I had a buffer of I don't know, it was close to about £1,000, because I kept the payments initially really small. And the thing about it is this, I didn't even need to keep the payments that small, because I still had money to blow on rubbish I didn't need. And so I just decided to cut back on some of the crap, try to get out of the house early so I don't have to take so many cabs, and increase my savings to like 3 times the amount, basically, because I could afford to do it. And again, people say to me all the time, it's not how much you earn, it's how much you save. Even if it's just £5 a week or the change in a jar, you'll be surprised how quickly that money can add up to be something that you could need as a buffer should you get into a compromised situation. And the fact that this lady could not find 7 grand, it's sad. It's sad for us as a group that we have this cultural mindset of always spending. And when it comes to spending, it's not on assets. It's not things that are going to increase in value. Because if this lady had even bought the house for 7,500, she could have sold it for how much? I mean, unless there's nothing else that she could get for the money that she could sell it for, she could easily renovate that house over time and flip it. And now she's a property developer. But just by not thinking about the future, a whole stream of opportunities has slipped through her fingers. That's all I wanted to say for this one. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. What money saving tips do you have? What kind of things would you encourage your younger self to do if you could go back in time to do with finances? What other things do Black people need to be talking about with regards to money? Like, share, comment, subscribe, share this video with someone who needs to see it. And I will catch you in the next one. Peace.